So Quinfall, new MMORPG, popped out of nowhere from a new studio that no one's really heard of and hasn't been around that long. And they're promising a lot of pretty impressive stuff that, makes it sound a little bit too good to be true. People scam, red flags started to get alerted and raised right away. And the company has come out with a statement following this feedback, right? There's been quite a bit of people covering the game and everyone's had quite a bit of skepticism going into it. And they've got a little announcement for us to check out. If we hop over to their Twitter here, we can see that they put up an announcement that not really that many people even saw it, let alone did any retweets, quote tweets, likes. This looks it's kind of sad, like something if I posted something on my Twitter here, which is a bit surprising considering how much attention the overall game got, especially on YouTube and basically every single MMO news website. So let's check out this announcement here. First of all, we are grateful for all the attention Quinfall has received over the last few days. In our gameplay showcase, we wanted to reveal our progress in the development of the game. We want to clarify that we won't be seeking any financial support from our followers during any point in development. In the meantime, we will be sharing periodic development diaries to keep you guys updated. What we want at Varric Technologies is to bring our followers on our development journey, which is why we are planning to do an extensive closed beta in the upcoming stages of development. Thanks to everyone for their support and coverage. So there you go. All right, so I know there's been a lot of negative takes on this, and a lot of people are super duper skeptical, right? And all this concerns and worries. But for me, call me whatever you want. I'm just kind of excited to see another piece of MMO competition potentially coming into the market. I also like the way they've been mostly quiet, and then they just drop gameplay trailers, right? We've got one about 10 months ago, and we got one a few days ago. And that's all they do, right? They're not doing all kinds of crazy hyping up. They just it's just drop in trailers of their development. They're not asking for any money, so there's officially a nothing to lose, right? The scam, potential is basically out the window, essentially. We'll see when things get closer to launch times and all that. But right now, they're not asking for any money, and they're going to be going into a beta already. We've got all kinds of games that have been doing this stuff where they trickle things out and they do their little development updates, but it's all to keep you in there, right? It's all player funded and all this kind of stuff. And, it goes on long enough and you start to get, those extra feelings am I being scammed here? What's going on? How many more years of development? When are we even going to get to beta? We got the Pantheon and the Ashes of Creation. I am hopeful for both of them, right? But they're examples of games that are doing this where they actively are taking the player money through the entire course of development. And then you got this game coming out, all kinds of skepticism and kind of hate coming at it that I've personally seen. And they're not asking for any money. There's here's this game. We use AI technologies. It's probably one of the ways that they're doing development so fast, if I had to guess. And, potentially just asset flipping, like people are saying. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't care where the assets come from, guys. I care about if the gameplay is good and the game's kind of fun. Again, I love MMOs, and I just like to see more competition and more options in the space. When you compare something like single-player games to MMORPGs, the difference in the amount of options you have, it's quite staggering, right? There's so many more single-player games. And a lot of times with MMOs, it feels like you've kind of got your top 5, and then there's some garbage ones no one really plays and such, and you got your old ones that are mostly dead unless you play on special private servers or classic versions of it and such. Competition, more options. It's a beautiful thing to me. And if they're not asking for anybody's money, I don't see the scam concerns here, and I'm just excited to see kind of where it goes. Now, one of the areas where the game is rightfully catching some more skepticism, concern, and potentials of kind of wondering if it's a scam is how short this development time is. The company is only established in 2021. We're only in 2023 now, and they're already talking about a beta. And according to the Steam page, even a release date in 2023, although I'm sure all of us in the MMO and game development following space pretty much expect that to get delayed at this point, right? Nothing ever comes out on its initial stated release date anymore these days. Now, while it is not necessarily usual for an MMO to be developed in any kind of short amount of time frame, especially to be developed in a short amount of time frame from a new company and also be good, it's not like it's never happened before, guys. Dark Age of Camelot. Let's take a look at this massively OP article that talks about it a bit. Compared to today's lengthy dev cycles, the development time, 18 months, and the costs, 2.5 million for Dark Age of Camelot, were tiny. But the dev team nonetheless cranked out a fully functional MMO that caught the eye of many. Dark Age of Camelot is one of my favorite games of all time. If someone were to remaster that game and just bring it out in a newer engine that made combat feel a little bit less clunky and everything look nicer, it'd probably be my #1 game that I would be playing right now. Still, it is a great game, great systems. This is one of the strengths of more sandbox and sandbox PvP style games, guys, is like they don't take as much development time. They don't take as big of a development team because it's more about creating systems that give players the tools to keep things going on their own, right? It's not necessary to have 100 new raids, constantly, and 100 new dungeons constantly, and all these new quest lines and all this stuff, right? You create these good sandbox systems and that give players the tools, which is what it sounds like they're kind of going for in this game, right? They're talking about player-owned taverns. We're going to have the naval stuff, the trade caravan stuff, all these different features from different games that kind of did some sandboxy stuff and some PvP themes. Throw them all in together and kind of see how it goes. Now, it might be total garbage. We don't know, but at least a beta's coming so we can try it out. They're not asking for our money. Again, I don't see the need to be so negative and skeptical, I understand when the game's asking for money or anything like that, big time pre-orders and such. I'm a big believer and supporter, and maybe we shouldn't do pre-orders anymore with the way things have been going. But when a game is just developing and all they're doing is dropping a trailer and they're like, hey, there's going to be a beta coming out if you want to test it out and whatnot, there's no reason to hate there. There's no reason to hate. It's all good. Thanks for throwing some more stuff in the market, more competition, more options. That's all good and beautiful for me, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree, right? Is there some more bigger reasons why we should be skeptical, even if they're not asking for money? What's the potential negatives that I'm not maybe seeing? You guys let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thanks for the YouTube members and the patrons, as always. Really appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one.